Chapter 3, October. I'm barefoot in the grass. Before me, the black mass of the forest seems to invite me in. Feel a hand on my arm. Miss? I heard a noise, so I came to check. Miss Bettine is standing next to me looking concerned. What am I doing here? What happened? A bad dream, miss. Just a bad dream. Come on, let's get you back to bed. Oh, it's right. This thing's calling me. Mrs. Bettine guides me back to my bedroom. Fall into a dreamless sleep. When I wake again, the sun is well up in the sky. I see Miss Bettine still here, asleep in a chair on the other side of the room. Sleeping so peacefully, I feel almost guilty waking her up. Mrs. Bettine? Alright. Oh, hello, Miss Daphne. I'm sorry. I must have dropped off. Dropped off? And what are you doing here? Oh, don't you remember? You gave us quite a fight last night. My Gerard had to go out. He heard a noise and went to check what it was. When he saw it was you, he woke me up so he could take you back to bed. You're used to it anyway. It used to happen to Madame, your grandmother, quite often. Once or twice a month, we'd find her wandering in the garden, and we had to put her back to bed. It must be the moon. Moon! The moon! Well, yes. You always did it when the moon... Okay, that was enough of that. Was full. You know what to say, don't you? About the full moon? Yes, you must be right. Ah, well. A full moon always brings something. Ah, well. A full moon always brings something with it. Have to beware of full moon dreams. I had a strange dream last night. Funny you should mention it. I did have a strange dream actually. In the forest. And there was a mirror and a sphinx. Sphinx, you say? Did you know that's part of your family's coat of arms? Maybe it's right there. Well, perhaps. The coat of arms? Yes, that's right. The blazon of the Delatours. You should have a look. It's carved in the tower wall. Blazon of a tower. And the Sphinx. A bit like that one from the pyramids. I'll take a look when I get the chance, thanks. You're right, maybe I did see it there. Well, miss, if you don't need me anymore, I'll get back to the lodge. Rod must be waiting for me to fix his lunch. Yes, of course, off you go. I know how to look after myself. In that case, have a good day, miss. If you need anything at all, just let me know. Miss Bettine goes, leaving me alone with my questions. Well, there's a grammar thing because I tell myself that this might be the moment to call Dr. Duran. Telling is wrong. Because then we'd have to say I am telling myself, but I without am means I tell myself. Said I could call him if I felt the need, and I'm afraid that the time has come. Not so sure he can do anything for me, but you never know. Pick up the phone and dial his number. Hello? Dr. Daphne? Dr. Daphne. Fuck me. Dr. Durant? It's Daphne Delatour. Ah, hello Daphne. Why are you calling? Well, told me I could call. True, but you haven't been in touch since August. Now you're calling me on a Sunday morning? Guessing it must be important. Oh. I'm so sorry. Didn't realize. I'll call you back tomorrow if you prefer. No, you were right to call me. That's precisely why I gave you this number, and I'll be more tuned in now than I would be between patients tomorrow. Quickly run through everything that's happened since I arrived, end up with the recurring dream and with what happened last night. Listen, Daphne, I understand why you've called me, but there's no cause for alarm. No proven treatment for somnambulism. Nothing suggests that it's an isolated crisis, suddenly to your new environment. But you must have an explanation for the dream, don't you? Well, that we can look into psychoanalysis. Tell me, how would you interpret it? It felt like a premonitory dream. Oh, I'm so hungry right now. Also, might need to go pooping. I don't know. The dream it was really strange. Almost felt like a premonition. Entitled to your beliefs, Daphne, but let me remind you that you're in charge of your own destiny. Don't forget that, even if this dream was indeed a premonition, as you say, don't be trapped by the idea that your fate can't be changed. Yes, you're right. Most of all, don't push yourself too hard. Take some time to think things over. Been through a lot of changes. When you get your bearings, everything will be fine. You'll see. Thank you, Doctor. Told me your ex-partner had paid you a visit. How do you see things there? What? I mean, honestly, I should give him a chance. That is my personal opinion here. Like, if the character, like the story we started with, I would have been like no and no and no, and it fits the character, the story, the narrative we were going for. But learning what I learned, it just doesn't make a sense to keep him away. Actually, would have probably needed him more than ever after what happened. I think she made a huge mistake. She ran away. Should have given him a chance. I wonder if I wasn't wrong to throw away what we had. Truly, a relationship deserves a chance. Thinking things through before rushing into them is important, and don't hesitate too much. Get a chance to pick up the pieces, as they say. Frank seems to have made it very clear, and you must know he didn't come all this way just to say hello. Anyway, if you do want to make it work, you better get on it soon, because the chance might be smaller than you think. Very well, Doctor. So, you mentioned the young man, Stanislas, is that right? Who the fuck is Stanislas? I don't even know who that is. I may have mentioned him. Yes, but I really don't know what to think of him. On one hand, he was intolerably rude, but on the other, I do find the Maltese quite intriguing. Just trying to point out that Frank isn't the only alternative. Maybe you're more open to new opportunities that you care to admit. Me and Stanislas Maltaire? That seems a bit far-fetched, Doctor. Only reacting to what you told me. If you'll allow me, I'd advise you not to rely on Frank being the solution to everything. And if you want your relationship to work, you need to make sure of your own well-being first. One last thing, before we get back to our own regular Sundays. Yes? How do you feel about your new job? I mean, I like it a lot. I know I wasn't sure about it when I left, but believe it or not, I love my new job. It's perfectly normal to be anxious in this situation. I'm sure you would enjoy it. You were right. Teaching is really fulfilling. So satisfying to enable those young brains to get a grip on complex ideas. Glad to hear that. Hang on to the positive element that will help you get through the trials life throws at you. Alright, Daphne. I'm sorry, but I have to go. I'm glad to hear that you're more at peace. No matter what, I don't think you've got any need to worry. It's perfectly normal to doubt yourself. You need your time to get your bearings. I trust you, of course, but I'm still not completely sure. Come now, Daphne. You have no reason to let yourself be overwhelmed by these details. For your sleepwalking episode, be alert, but don't be alarmed. Told me about the Warrens living nearby. Perhaps you could ask them to be on the guard in case it happens again. Tell me if you do ever feel yourself getting overwhelmed and need it, I'll refer to your colleague in the area. Okay. Oh. And unless it's an emergency, try to check the day of the week before you jump at the phone next time. Yes, of course, Doctor. I'll try to limit my sleepwalking to weekdays from now on. Alright, we'll say no more about it. Have a good Sunday. Thanks. You too. As I'm recovering from my night, lolling on the sofa with a good book and a cup of tea, I hear someone knocking. Surprised to find Frank beaming at me on the porch and holding a bunch of flowers. Carnations, your favorites. I saw them at the market. I thought of you right away. Hands me first in the steps aside. Also, our hair got long and we colored it. We dyed it, didn't we? How about the coffee? Sure. So, how are things going? Do you like the village? Follows me to the kitchen, put the flowers in a vase and turn on the coffee machine. Well, I'm doing alright. I've got a couple of jobs, including some big roof repairs. What's great around here is the people are so easy to work with, not constantly asking me to justify my decisions, and don't have harebrained notions about how I should do my job. And you? How are you doing? We chat for a while, in passing, and tell him about my eventful night. Still kind of enjoy his company. 1 hour and 2 coffees later, Frank finally decides to get to the point. He told me about your tower with no door, do you remember? I can't admit, I was pretty intrigued. Do you mind if I take a look? Not at all, help yourself. I'm as intrigued as you are. I'm wondering what might be inside. In that case, I'll investigate and report back to you. Do you want me to check around for an old pipe? I think you ought to be properly equipped, don't you, Sherlock Holmes? Nah, very funny. I'm sure I can resolve the mystery of the yellow room. And Frank goes off to do his stuff, and I get back to my blanket and my thriller. He appears late in the afternoon, his coat covered with dust and his shoes covered in mud. So, the look on your face, I'm guessing it wasn't elementary, my dear Watson. Nope, I have to admit defeat. So, what are your conclusions? There must be an entrance somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I tried to get in by the wall of the ladder, but the arrow slits are too narrow and too deep. I can't see anything inside, let alone get in unless I blow up the wall. Miss Bertine caught me doing my acrobatic act, so I took the chance to ask her a few questions. Apparently she's got no idea what's inside either. I told you so. When I suggested getting in by the roof, she immediately advised me against it. Apparently the roof hides another older stone ceiling. No way in that way either. Thinking about the kind of scaffolding I need to get up there, I think I'll have her word for it. Well, at least it's right. Sure. Well, I'd better go. Got a big day tomorrow. Thanks for the coffee. You're welcome. See you later. See ya. I didn't dream that night. Monday was particularly tiresome. I don't know if the students are conspiring to wind me up, or if it's just that I'm not completely over my disturbing weekend. To top it off, as I head to the school gates, I see Miss Slavic glaring balefully at me as she waits for her son. I suppose she'll leap on the chance to give me an earful. After my long day, it's tempting to try to dodge her, even if it's not very professional. I'm weighing up the pros and cons. I realize she's already starting toward me. What should I do? Let her come. I'm bracing myself for an unpleasant 15 minutes with a hand on my arm. Stanislas Maltaire. Ah, Miss Delatour, I'm in lag. I just wanted a word with you. Stanislas Maltaire holding a young child by the hand. Miss Slavic immediately turns on her heels and goes back outside the gates. Ugh, the child is ugly. I already don't like him, but this child? This is freaking ugly. Uncle Stan, who's this lady? Well, Pierre, this pretty lady is Daphne Delatour. She lives in the castle. In the witch's castle? You're not the witch, are you, miss? Do excuse him. As you can tell, he's not afraid to speak his mind. He adds with a wink. He takes after his uncle, I suppose. He crouched down to the child's side. Perhaps I'm a nice witch. Since I live in the witch's castle, must be a witch, right? He hides behind his uncle's leg, intimidated. Yes. In that case, I must definitely be one. Perhaps I'm the nice kind of witch, don't you think? Can you exist, Uncle Stan? The nice witches? Of course they do. Miss Delatour is a teacher at the middle school. She knows what she's talking about. Stand up and notice Stanislas is putting out his hand. I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Stanislas Maltaire, but my friends call me Stan. Daphne Delatour, it seems you already know that. Of course, you must have noticed how fast news spreads around here, Daphne. May I call you Daphne? Since you made the patriarch last month, he hasn't stopped talking about you. The woman's completely obsessed with what happens at the castle, and it isn't improving with his age. But don't let that put you off. The rest of the family isn't cut from that same cloth. We must have a coffee together one of these days to get to know each other. I'm sure we have a lot in common. If I have a chance to answer yet. By the way, did you receive an invitation to the cocktail party? Cocktail party? I do hope you'll come. My father always makes me attend, but it's atrociously stuffy. Uncle Stan, can we go for a snack? Yes, Pierre, in a minute. Well, Junior wants a snack. We'd better go. Say goodbye to Daphne, Pierre. Hey, my name's Pierre Yves, not Junior. Child takes my hand. Will you come with us, Auntie Daphne? I think he might have adopted you. Auntie Daphne has things to do. She can come up with us this time. Come on, let's go home. You're driving. For real? Of course not. Daphne, lovely to meet you. See you soon. In a few moments, Stan and Junior have disappeared in a sports car, and I'm left speechless on the sidewalk trying to sort out what just happened. When I get back to the house, I discover I have mail. I'm gonna be right back. When I get back to the house, I discover mail. An elegant square envelope containing an invitation to a cocktail party. I guess that's what Stanislas was talking about. Looks like I've been invited to the reopening of the town hall gardens that have just been renovated. I bet all the cream of local society will be there, so it could be an excellent opportunity to learn more about the Maltesers. I could ask Frank to come with me, but I know this kind of social event isn't really his cup of tea. On the other hand, going on my own. Frank to come. Pick up the phone and ask Frank to come with me. Frank is very happy to hear from me. I don't need to persuade him very hard to convince him to come. D-Days arrives fast, as that before the evening I'm confronted with a quandary. I can deduce from the elegance of the invitation card that proper attire is required, so I guess it's not a jeans and shirt kind of do. I don't own anything remotely appropriate for this kind of occasion, but after rummaging through the wardrobe in my mother's room, I found 2 dresses that might be suitable. Just can't choose. On one hand is a long empire-line dress, suspected of more to my grandmother's taste and criteria of elegance, to be honest. I can imagine my mother wearing this by choice. Pale blue, color that generally suits my complexion. The option is a black strapless dress, short and tight-fitting. I can totally see my mother wearing this. Exactly the kind of thing she would have worn for nights out. Like the blue one, it leaves very little to the imagination between the bare shoulders and the length, or the lack of length of the skirt. Which one should I choose? I mean, the black dress called to us, didn't it? The long blue dress. Might be a bit overdressed, but I think this is the most sensible option. No, I'm not convinced it's much. That option should be better. But on the other dress, I'm having second thoughts. Maybe the first one was better after all. Decide, I'm going to be very late. I know, change. Sort of my hair. Just have time to finish getting ready when I hear the boying horn of Frank's van. Climb in and a few minutes drive later we're there. The town hall gardens look magnificent, the trees robed in the flaming colors of fall. There are already a lot of people gathered in small groups, glasses of wine in hand. I'm glad I managed to persuade Frank to come with me. I've certainly stood out at the style of the gathering if I'd come alone. The guests are all dressed up to the nines, and the event looks more like a lavish wedding than a gathering in a small country village. The Maltesers clearly didn't balk at the expense. Frank barely has time to get us a glass of champagne from the buffet before I'm approached by a large man in a black suit. It is, of course, Yves Malter, shakes my hand beaming, closely followed by a tall and haughty blonde woman. It's reasonable to assume she's his wife. Good evening, Mr. Latour. So glad you came to a little party. I must confess, I've been very eager to learn more about the new castle's owner. I see you didn't come alone. Good evening, sir. Yves Malter. Frank Duval, pleased to meet you. Like the singer? Never mind, forget I said anything. Pleased to meet you. Let me introduce you to my wife, Clotilde Maltere. Oh, Jesus. Bro, they're calling us a witch and then he's married to that thing? Alright. Good evening, Miss Delatour. Daphne, pleased to meet you. The icy handshake contrasts sharply with Aspen's bonhomie. You can read a mix of contempt and distaste in her eyes. Odd. It looks like my daughter Celine has been ambushed by old Mr. Maury. He waves his hand toward a pretty young blonde woman across the path. She's leaning down to an old man in a wheelchair who's caught her by her wrist and seems determined to hang on to her as long as decency allows. As for my son, I believe you have already met him. Yes, I have. Now that we're done with the introduction, let me get to the point. Let me tell you, my invitation wasn't without an ulterior motive. As you'll see for yourself later during the opening ceremony, we're very concerned about the preservation of our cultural heritage here in the village. And as you may have heard, our relations with your grandmother were, how could I put it, strained. Okay. Yes, I had heard that. I imagine your maintenance costs to the castle must be quite significant. If you would agree to open it up to visitors a few times a year, the town council might be able to help you out with some of these expenses. No, no. Look, I'm not comfortable with the idea of opening my home up to strangers. I understand the objection, but I assure you your private life will be preserved. The most interesting part of the building is the tower. You can certainly think about opening only that part up to the public. But something tells me you're going to take some persuading, but I do hope whatever may have happened in the past between the Maltese and the Latours won't be an obstacle to a possible collaboration. Anyway, let me assure you that I have the very best intentions, and I hope with all my heart that your move here will signal a new cordiality between our families. I don't think so. I'm gonna eradicate your whole family, but sure. Do you know about the tower? Surprised the tower interests you so much. Perhaps you could tell me more about its history. I keep forgetting you're not from around here. Everyone in the village knows the legends. I tend to forget that not everybody knows our local history. The legends? Oh, local stories. The kind you find everywhere. I won't wish to bore you with it. Let's just say the tower is, in a way, the emblem of the village, and people would like to have it back as part of our community heritage. Tell me more about this legend. I find these local stories fascinating. Can you tell me more? Well, of course. It's the story of the maiden's ghost. The young woman who supposedly killed herself after her heart was broken by jumping from the top of the tower. It's sad you can hear weeping sometimes at full moon. There's also the tale about the Sphinx and the Druidas. Oh, yes? Speaking of which, you must excuse me. I'm afraid I'll have to tell you another time. Time's going on, and I have to prepare for the unveiling of the statue. Oh, god damn it. The huge smelt hair disappears into the ground. But now I know who the other members of the family are. I'll be able to question them directly. Celine is still dealing with the old man and Chloe Field. Her mother is taking advantage of Aspen's departure to move over to the buffet. Let's ask Frank what he thinks of all this. What should I do? I'm gonna go to Celine, because she's still dealing with the old man. And it sounded like the old man is kind of harassing her, so I'm gonna go with Celine first. Oh wow. Okay. When she sees me approaching, Celine seizes her chance and manages finally to extricate herself from Mr. Morris' clutches. For an instant, her eyes are full of gratitude and relief then she comes towards me with a large smile. You must be Daphne de la Tour. I'm Celine Maltaire, Stanislas' older sister. Pleased to meet you. The pleasure is mine. I was looking forward to meeting you. Stan told me you were delightful. I'm only about me. I'm with your son. Yes, indeed. He was picking up your son at the end of his school day. Ah, so you met my little treasure. I hope he was behaving himself. Been a bit of a handful since his father passed away. Not always easy. Sorry to hear that. We're not gonna ask what happened. Holy Jesus. That was so insensitive. Hear that. Thank you. It's kind of you to say that. It's been hard, but it's starting to get easier, one day at a time. Dan's been fantastic. Kept me afloat during the hard times after the accident. Second such good care of his little nephew. Actually, he's told me a lot about you. Really? He told you about me? He did, and I want to apologize for his behavior. I know what he can be like around women. Probably won't like me telling you this, but I think you made quite an impression on him. Probably won't like me telling you this, but I think you made quite an impression. I must admit, he made quite an impression on me too. Appreciate the honesty. Listen, no, it's none of my business, but I hope you won't mess him around. Dan's never been lucky in love. He really could do with a stable relationship. And his relationship with our parents is quite strained. Could he shake himself free of the family a bit, would do him a lot good. Problem is that he's the kind of person that has to be pushed to commit himself. Just saying, there's no pressure, but I'm counting on you, Daphne. Enough about my brother. Tell me about yourself. What do you do for a living? How do you like it in the village? We talked for a good 20 minutes. Celine seems kind and outgoing. I can't decide if it's not all just a front. The attention seems to wander quite often, until without notice she disappears in the town hall, leaving me hanging. What should I do next? Talk to Clotilde Maltaire. Clotilde Maltaire is chatting with a group of smartly dressed people. A vague smile plays on her lips. Her face is hard to read. Was she reluctant to attend this function? Was she distant, haughty, added part of her natural personality? Seeing me approach, she apologizes to her guest and takes me aside. Miss Maltaire. Listen, girl. I'm talking to Dr. Zakarian and his wife. You've been raised with such a lack of basic good manners. Well, I hope you'll excuse my bluntness, but I'm afraid neither the time nor the inclination to teach you otherwise. If you don't mind, I'll go back to my guests, and you? I don't know. Enjoy the buffet, maybe? I wish you a good evening. Fine. The type stuck as Clotilde turns away and returns to her conversation. I hadn't imagined she would be so hostile toward me. There's a ripple in the crowd. Guests are gathering around the platform. The unveiling ceremony is about to begin. Someone is walking against the current, pushing through the crowd in my direction. Daphne? Oh, he's drunk. He's so drunk. Stanislas carrying a glass of wine and looking rather drunk. You came. Great. You're right. Something tells me it's a bit too much to drink. You? Too much? Nah, just a small and is ready to get through the old man's speech. Come with me. His sister must be around here somewhere. I went back to him looking for Celine. He should know what to do with a brother in this kind of situation. I have time to around when Sam twirls me back, pulling me against him. I look into his eyes and understand perfectly well what is about to happen. Trying to hold him back, but exhaling wine fumes in my face. Mouth presses down on mine. Luckily, I'm saved by a rasping voice that stops Stanislas in his track. God damn, thanks for saving me, you stupid fucking bitch. How? Isn't it enough for you to corrupt our youth? Beatrice Levac stands next to us, glaring at me. Something's down. Come down, Miss Lack. I was just leaving. If you just... Beatrice doesn't let me finish my sentence, but throws the contents of a glass of red wine in my face. That's for you, you filthy! Surprised by the attack, I take a step back. Backward and stumble, feel a sharp pain in my left hand. Feel my cheeks flushing. A ball of heat seems to blaze inside my chest. Where is Frank? Filthy what? Filthy witch? Is that what you wanted to say? Stanislas helps me up. Feel something warm dripping down my finger, and realize I must have cut my hand when I fell. See? Now I'm injured. You happy? Since I am a filthy witch, I curse you. You'll pay for what you've done to me tonight. That what you wanted? Are you satisfied? I'm a sorceress, as you say. I'd put my powers to good use. Daphne, your hand. Blood has been drawn. Careful what you're about to. With real satisfaction, I watch Miss Levac turn white as a sheet. I hold her gaze until she lowers her head and turns away. Then puts his hand on my shoulder and shakes me gently. Daphne? You realize what? Cut him off, exasperated. Oh, enough now. Leave me alone. Straight to the bathroom. There he is. He's just standing there looking at us. Try to the bathroom to clean out my wound, wipe the wine from my face, and most of all, try to calm down. He yards away as see Frank stop stuck, the keys of the van in his hand. Must have witnessed the whole thing, but he knows me well enough not to try to prevent me from leaving. In the distance on the platform, Yves Maltea is taking the microphone and is about to speak. My dear friends, neighbors and fellow citizens. We've come together to celebrate the start of the fall season. As you all know, by tradition, this time of the year is dedicated to reflection and remembrance. The time when we think of those dear to us who have moved on, wait for us on the other side. But it's also the time of the offering, when we pray that nature and invisible entities bring us a mild winter. That's why our craftsmen have worked so hard all summer in preparation for the celebration, so that today we could present to you the fruit of our efforts. To leave summer behind us to enter winter, this time of offering, as I said, seems like the ideal moment to renew our pact with our protectors, the invisible forces who have allowed our traditions to survive century after century, not disappear at the whim of invasions and external influences, and bring us good fortune, happiness, and prosperity every year. So I'm proud to present you this physical representation of a pact. This statue, symbol of our community that is worn down by the years and weather, has now been remade by the masterful hands of exceptional local craftsmen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the Sphinx.